morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to, I was going to say sunny Port Elizabeth, but it's not sunny Port Elizabeth. It's wet and windy and cold Port Elizabeth today, or Quebec. Did I? No, I didn't get that
Almost.
right. Almost. So I am honoured today to have Collin Molepe here, who is the Managing Executive of Absa Insurance. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alan, and great to be here.
Now, we're in the middle of NAMSA Auto Week. So surrounding me, which you can't see on camera, is lots of very, very beautiful cars. Now, a lot of them are what they call NEVs, or new energy vehicles. They got a big battery inside them.
Yeah.
So, Colin, you're the insurer. So if someone crashes one of these cars, right, and damages that very expensive battery, now, surely the insurance premium for an NEV costs more, or does it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a new risk that we are learning as we move. The reality is that with the adoption still being very small, I'd argue about less than 2% of cars on the road are still NEVs. So our experience, particularly in South Africa, is still fairly limited. We will learn as we move how to manage this risk. And obviously we are quite investing in research, in understanding in other markets how they're dealing with this. But as you could expect, in South Africa, the conditions might be different and therefore our experience might be different. But you are right, the battery would form the biggest component of the vehicle that could determine whether the car is repairable or not.
Okay. But you didn't answer. Is it more expensive or not?
In theory, yes, it is.
By much?
And so let's put it this way. We've got a standard that says if a car is damaged to a certain percentage of the value of the vehicle, you write it off, right? But if you think about, in this case, a battery not being functional, but the actual shell of the vehicle and the chassis are still intact, the question is, would you write it off? And let's do some quick math.
Okay.
A vehicle is worth 300,000, but the battery of the car is worth 180,000 of the car, just as an example. So if that battery is not functional, do you throw that vehicle out and say, I can't repair it? The answer is probably not. But the replacement of the battery at this point in time, as I said, the experience is quite low. But what will naturally happen over time, and because of the availability of stock and getting it into the country, will start shifting the numbers. That will become easy to say it's not as expensive. So everything in this particular response that I'm giving you is that it will be relative, because the models are different as well. They come from different OEMs. Some of them are actually using different technologies. So to immediately say that it's expensive might not be the wisest answer at this point in time, because I can't factually prove it to you.
And I'm also being alarmist because, I mean, all these cars come with this wide array of technology. These headlights are beautiful. They do lots of flashy things. And you've got the back of the car, you get LEDs all along.
Yeah.
You've got cameras everywhere that sense the road and so on.
Yeah.
All of those must be expensive to replace as well.
No, look, Aman, you can appreciate that the latest vehicles that we have on the road have just got incredible technology in them. Even some of what you would call entry-level vehicles, which in the past you wouldn't get in an entry-level vehicle. And those, you are right. Some of them, just the lights are just expensive. Crash parts are becoming quite expensive because of the technology that these guys have. So indeed, the cost of repairs for these vehicles is going to be elevated compared to the current experience we have.
You say the industry is wait and see, but there is European experience. I'm sure your actuaries and your guys who do very clever maths also talk to people overseas.
Yeah.
What's the European experience?
I mean, look, there's huge data available from the European counterparts. But Alan, I'm going to then say to you that if you take one variable that's different between us and Europe, which is the climate, you cannot then use the European experience as the proxy for South Africa. And let me give you a practical example. We have a slightly warmer climate compared to them.
Which is very nice. We like that.
Of course, I know you love it. So therefore, and I'm going to give a hypothetical example, that in some European countries, the battery might last a year without an issue because of the cooler conditions. But it comes to South Africa or the African continent, which is warmer, because we haven't had the experience, it might last for 6 months. So therefore, if you use the European proxy, it might be a misguided experience, as it were. But to my earlier point, we are investing quite a bit, including with the OEMs, to understand the testing conditions in and out of different territories so that you can actually have, and you are right, the actuaries are actually doing a phenomenal amount of work, but experience is probably the best measure of success, which means we'll get it right in some cases and sometimes we'll probably get it wrong. I mean, just as we speak, the rating factors we use to price for an NEV would be different to a normal combustion vehicle, right? And those are the things that we are playing around, modeling, and trying to understand. Because when we do get to a certain level where we have got a significant percentage of these cars on the road, then we need to be in a position to button down how to manage the risk.
With NEVs, are you being asked to quote on them more often, less often? Sort of gauge of interest.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name a particular brand, but there's a brand that has just launched with us, BYD. Maybe let me put it out there.
They are gorgeous cars.
They have launched their new model about a week or two ago, and we've partnered with them.
The 1 year free insurance. Is that
Of
you?
course, that's us. We're giving you 12 months free insurance in partnership with BYD. And that will obviously allow us to even get more and more insights through that particular medium. But we're excited. We've done quite extensive research in understanding the vehicle itself, but also the target market that's going to be picking up that vehicle. And there are two extremes, right? It could be the youth, it could be your housewives, and of course their driving patterns are different. But more importantly for us, it's about understanding that risk intimately, not using the theoretical data we've accumulated, but on the ground. So we're excited about that campaign, and we're looking forward to it.
Because I was being alarmist about the battery getting damaged. But I mean, I assume that the battery is right in the core of the car. You have to really smash the car up for the battery to be damaged.
Yeah, look, it's not like it's where it's easily penetratable. I mean, if you look at the chassis, in fact, if you look at the skeletal of the vehicle, you'll see that it has to be a massive damage to get to it, right?
And if it's that kind of damage, don't worry about the battery. You've got yourself to look after. I mean,
well, that's the thing. It is an important data point, because I think while you're focusing on the cars, we always worry about, are our clients okay? Because the cars we can fix, we can replace, but the most important part is the safety of the clients. So of course, the last part that I want to add is just compared to some of the European countries, is that if you look at the extent to which crashes happen in South Africa compared to Europe, there's a distinction as well. So their experience in some cases might not be as extensive as ours, as it were, and therefore the attribution, the factors or the attributes might mean that ours has got to be slightly a higher multiple than it is in European countries. So those are the small things that the experience will help us to navigate.
Going back to an earlier point, do batteries like to be cold?
So in June or in winter season in South Africa, we know that some of the cars struggle with, let's say, starting up, if you will, because of at that particular time of the year, the batteries get affected. And I probably don't want to use a different technical term to that effect. And therefore, during that particular period, there's a lot of roadside needed because of that particular climate or time of the year. Now, but that's a different type of battery compared to what's in these vehicles, as it were. Hence, I earlier said that the climate in South Africa, as we understand and gain more and more of these on the road, might help us to say, actually, it lasts longer because of the type of conditions. But here's the last part as well. The charging capability, which also influences, because at your home, you might be using solar. At my home, I'm using the normal utility powering. Or Somebody else might be using, the normal charging stations which are publicly available. So those three variables, we don't know if they could influence this differently. But the reality is we don't know. You can assume that it is the same, but that might not be the case. It might actually react differently. So these are small attributes or variables that you have to say, okay, let's understand there's something that happened to this car. Where was it before? It was charged at the particular station. Maybe that station is powered by, and all of those things will require a lot of time, Alan, before we can emphatically say, and even give counsel and advice to people to say, be careful. Don't charge this maybe during this time of the day or using this type of facility.
So last then, your advice. So let's say I was sitting here, there's a beautiful Corolla Cross sitting opposite me here. So it's probably the most successful hybrid in the country by a long way right now. So I'm thinking of the hybrid Corolla Cross versus the petrol Corolla Cross. What should I be worrying about insurance? Should I call you first? What should I do?
Our job is to insure risks in different forms and shapes. We are not selective to say whether it's a cross or other. And therefore, I'm none the wiser to give you counsel about which option. I'm interested in just understanding the risk itself and being in a position to rate it appropriately and make sure that the clients are covered.
And it's important to understand there's many risks.
Of course.
Because people tell me I drive badly. Personally, I think I'm a great driver. But they tell me I drive badly, so that's probably more important than whether it's a hybrid or a petrol engine as well.
And I mean, the last thing about these units is that, you would have thought that from a power or speed, they could be less than the normal combustion engines, and that's not necessarily the case. The stories we hear about the power that's in these NEVs is quite amazing. So that's another factor, by the way, that could actually impact the frequency of claims for these vehicles. Yet again, we don't know. It's a wait and see.
Well, look, that BYD you were talking about, the BYD Bucky is the fastest in the country, isn't it?
Absolutely. So you invite me in a year, I'll now give you data points with some real statistics to say this is what we observe.
Well, then let's set the date. This table, 1 year's time, Absa Auto Week.
You got a deal.
Collin, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.